So now we come back to my circuit. I got two isolated power supplies right here. So they're sharing the current right now. We're going to address that coming up. First off, just kind of a reintroduction. I did a couple videos. If I turn that power supply off, now this power supply is providing all the power, and the diodes are keeping this power supply from providing power to that power supply. Otherwise, the green LED would be lit up. I'll show that again right there. There you can see green LED lit up, and you can see we need more current in that case. So there's a lot of reasons why you would want to have two power supplies constantly ready to power the circuit, and then make sure that they don't interact with each other. So you can simply do that with diodes right there. So this one's forward bias for this power supply, but reverse bias when it comes to that power supply, and vice versa. So the cathode is in the middle for both of those diodes. The cathode has the gray band, and then the anode does not have a band over there. They got to be towards the more positive side, so they'll conduct. And then it's reverse bias in this direction. This power supply cannot put current. This power supply is making it more positive over there. It can't flow that way. Ultimately, they're getting rid of each other when it comes to oh, they're both off. There we go. They're like eliminating each other when it comes to powering the load right there. Thus, they're like sharing the load. So in any case, looks like this one's slightly more. So I showed if I want this one to dominate, maybe I just have to go up 0.1 volts, but they're 0.2 volts. Looks like that took all the current load right there, and I can go down a little bit. So again, I went over that a bit more in the last video, so we're gonna just jump past. Now, let's say we got two supplies, they're both fixed, and they're exactly the same, like this. We have one that we prefer to be the main power supply. So this is the 1N4001. Those are the diodes that commonly come with kits and everything. Very, very common component. That's why I don't dwell too much on what it is. This other diode down here, and Zener diodes tend to look like that, but it's just the glass package. So that's plastic package, that's glass package, and the main difference is what their appearance, but they got some like minor differences. But in any case, we're not going to dwell on that too much. So I got the 1N6263. I got it out of Joe Knows Electronic Semiconductor Kit, and luckily the biggie was right on top, which is weird. Maybe I haven't opened that kit a lot. I really recommend though a kit that has a lot of semiconductors after you get familiar with the basic components. So what I'm going to do is just swap it out. So it works like the rectifier diode up here. It's a Schottky diode. It's also a rectifier diode, but it's called Schottky because it has a lower forward voltage. So the rectifier diodes, and I put it in backwards. That's the problem. So yeah, we need the cathode, the black band right there, towards the load. So that's a troubleshooting thing right there. If the diode is not working, probably put it in backwards. There we go. So this is what we wanted to see. Now we have the full amount of current that LED needs right there, just coming from this power supply. And again, that's because the Schottky diode has a lower forward voltage. So it takes a little less voltage before it starts conducting, which is very useful if you just have a little bit too much voltage being dropped. You could use a Schottky diode instead of just a regular silicon rectifier diode right there. And again, we can turn this power off, and that one's instantly going to jump in. It's just providing slightly less voltage because of the diode dropping a little bit more. But when it comes to the red LED right there, losing 0.7 volts out of 5 is no big deal. I lose more than that when I wire it up in my 555 timer circuits. So yeah, we got the 5 volts there. Let's go 4.9, 4.8. Okay, there we go. So yeah, looks like that's still a little bit more current than what it was providing when we had the same diodes right there. So yeah, must be about dropping, I should say, about 0.25 volts less, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. But in any case, 5 volts, that's our goal. When they're completely equal, to get this one to provide all the power. Now I'm going to put the other one back, make sure it's wired the right way. Again, it's good to practice these circuits on something safe like this before applying them to a larger project, just so you get your mistakes out on the smaller ones. So now we need to rotate this because the diode needs to face the other way. And again, it's a Schottky diode. It's just a specially made diode to have a lower forward voltage than the regular rectifier diode. That's the primary difference when you hear a Schottky diode. And the symbol's a little bit different for the diode. The band looks a bit different. But in any case, we have 5 volts from the supply. It's on, but it's not providing any of the power anymore. None of the current. It's all coming from the breadboard power supply because we have this lower forward voltage right there. So again, that's a simple solution. If you have a situation, we're gonna assume this is a battery, and we don't want the battery providing the power when it's fully charged or something. We want something else too, but it can jump in or something. If their voltages are too close when the battery is fully charged, again, you just use a diode that drops a little bit more. On the side, you want to be the backup, and then it will be ready to jump in as needed, but no sooner than that.